Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review. Today I'm taking a look at the high-grade After Colony Altron Gundam from, of course, Gundam Wing. As you can tell from the color of the box, this one right here is in completely green, which means it is a premium Bandai exclusive, so if you do want one of your own, I got mine through Bai, and you can get one there too. Link in the description. So I'm popping open the box. We got 4 bags of runners in here, and according to this manual, and by the way, this is the Bandai we could not give a shit about this kit manual because there's no pictures, no description of the equipment, no description of the mobile suit, nothing like that. We've got 9 runners, not including the polycaps and the stickers, so quite a bit of plastic in here. So when it does come to the individual runners, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these are brand new for Altron. 3 of them are from the high-grade Shenlong, which is from 2022. And then we've got these ones right here. There's 2 of these. These are the high-grade Gundam Frame, which are from 2019. If I'm not mistaken, that's something like Sandrock or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. So starting as usual with the legs and the feet in this are pretty much like what we would have seen with the I nearly said Sandrock with the Shenlong Gundam. They build up nicely. We do have a little bit of a bend at the toe and an interesting attachment for the ankle armor that gets a little bit more interesting even when the leg pops on. This right here is what we get when we are done, and so far pretty simple. Nice bend up and down. Always good to see. The joints in the legs are the same we've seen across all of these kits. Not in the actual wing itself, I'm pretty sure that was an older kit, but in all the TV versions of the Gundam Wing suits, we've seen these joints. There are polycaps in this build, and they are this style right here. We've got that little tab in there, and then the polycap attaches on and in, giving you little pegs on the side. Onto the leg armor, and we've got some really nice venting all over this. This is a pure shade of white, so it does kind of blow out in the lighting a little bit, but there is a lot there, but you'll need to panel line it. Thruster in the back attaches in like so. The joint leg section up here, another polycap down here, and then the other half of the leg attaches on like so. Upper leg armor just slots on down. And this right here is where this foot does get interesting. Like I mentioned, we have that little bit of a section right there, and then this just pops in onto that like so, which does recess nicely into the leg, and then this knee armor attaches on over it just like that, which actually has a cool effect of this little piece that moves in and out. It doesn't get in the way of the articulation, but it recesses nicely. That's cool. The hip joint then is just one of these usual kind of high-grade ones where you've got a polycap into this little segment, and that whole thing then pops into a cuff like that, and then just attaches on into the upper leg. So leg complete. Moving down now to the waist unit, and a lot of this has a lot in common with the full release Sandrock, I always mix them up. Shenlong Gundam. On the front skirtings, all that is new is the white segments. On this particular segment right here, on this particular segment that's made up of 3 pieces, the only thing that's on the new runner is the central little pointy aspect. This section is all out of parts that we would have seen on other kits, including the fact that the waist on this has that kind of rocking little mechanism. Both legs rock forward at the same time. Up here we have an additional clip section, which gives us a little bit of ab crunch. The butt flap is made out of 2 pieces, again exactly the same as the Shenlong Gundam. Gives it a nice little bit of an armored feel. And then that all just builds together piece. And then it's just on with the legs just like so. Side skirts are those not so awesome polycap joints, but I guess they will do. And there we go, Gundam pants complete. So moving a little bit more snappily through the build, and when it comes to the torso, this is pretty much identical to what we saw in the Shenlong, just color swapped. So we've got that awesome Altron green, everything builds up in the usual way, polycap shoulders, some nice joints in the mid section, the neck is a polycap into a nice cuff, and we do have that awesome Shenlong style body armor with a nice moving cockpit piece so it won't get in the way of the bend. Somewhat similar yet again to the Shenlong is the dragon style arms. Now we've got 2 of these in this kit, and they're ridiculously awesome to build. You build all the moving parts of the head of the little dragon heads. There are some stickers in here. I didn't use some yellow ones, but I did use the green underside one, as well as the two weirdly fitting eye stickers for on the dragon heads. I do recommend painting those because they are recessed and strange. Then you build up a whole bunch of various different elements to make up this snake-like aspect of the arms. These do have very nice joints, and just like we saw with the Shenlong, these have that almost keyhole style locking joint where there's slots on the peg when you pop it in, and then you turn it to lock it in place. Don't forget about this, or you might end up breaking something later on while trying to remove it. I've totally done that before. Next up then, you build the standard forearms. These are very normal Gundam style, and then you move on to the shoulders. The shoulders here are very, very nice. We've got some color separation in the yellow and red segments, which is incredible. The way you actually build the extending arms into the shoulders is very nice. You've got a little cap which attaches onto the sides of the arms, and then you attach those arms into the rear section of the shoulder and then put on the front section. Everything is nicely hidden away inside of that shoulder armor and can come in and out. You pop the dragon head onto the wrist then. We also do have a Shenlong style shield in here that pops up onto the shoulder just like so, and you finish that off with a hand. The head in here is simple and effective, definitely simple compared to some newer high-grade kits. The eyes in here are stickers, so are the head cameras. The pieces are tiny because Gundam wing mobile suits are quite small. We've got those great Altron ears in green, a mohawk for down the back, finishing off with that nice big old V-fin. So finally now onto the backpack, probably one of the more interesting aspects on the Altron Gundam. This part right here, this is identical to what we would have seen on the back of the Shenlong. There we go, that is what that looks like. But there is a whole lot more to it on this particular kit. So these parts attach together, that's what attaches into that backpack we just saw. We have to pop together a whole bunch of these draggy finny sections. This attaches on here with a C-clip. Extending that then like so, and like so, getting that cannon-y section onto the end there. Was it a flamethrower? My memory not serving me too greatly. And then we finish that off with this very small but awesome bit of color separation right here. So then that dragony tail section pops up here like so, or should I say head, and then onto the back of this bit like so. Very nice. The next part of this then is the wing, so we have a joint that pops in there. This bit just sandwiches on. Little piece for weapon storage attaches in there. Thruster or vent pops up here. And then it's just this bit and this bit to finish off the wing. Those wings just pop on to side and side of the backpack, just like that. Alright, so on to the final assembly. This should be pretty much exactly the same as the Shenlong, which was a very decent kit. Oh, already lost a piece, talk too soon. That just fell right out of this little container right here. Anyway, there is the second arm, popping on the head, quite simple. The backpack then attaches on just like that. That looks nice, and again, this hasn't even been panel lined or anything. It just looks so glorious. Actually, I did panel line the muzzle a little bit. I usually do, just because that can be a little hard to get into after assembly. Anyway, getting this little piece back in here, where it should be actually not much holding that in, and that is the Altron finished. So now jumping straight on into the aesthetics, and there is the high-grade Altron Gundam complete. This is just a straight build, nothing really special done, double snipped off the runners, and I did panline the muzzle a bit, and for whatever strange reason, I was also compelled to panline that one line in the chest as well, don't ask. So even though this kit right here shares a lot of runners and a lot of similarities physically to the Shenlong Gundam, these kits almost are night and day. The upgrade here is ridiculous. One of the biggest letdowns on the Shenlong Gundam is the color separation in the shoulders was not the greatest, and we ended up relying on a big green shiny sticker. This kit right here actually has super beautiful color separation up in its shoulders. But yeah, overall, like I mentioned, so much of this does share a lot in common with the Shenlong Gundam, but this has been overly super upgraded. We've got two of those kick-ass massive shoulders with the extending arms in this kit. The legs have some extra detail in the lower aspects, and probably the thing that stands out the most is that massive winged backpack with dragon head cannon. We've got the typical shield up on the shoulder, and overall, like I said, A lot of parts shared, but a whole different feeling to this kit right here. So jumping into that full 360-degree spin so you can see absolutely everything for yourself. This is incredible. Like I mentioned, straight build, just double snipped with a little bit of pan lining on the face. Besides that, this is exactly what you will get with minimal effort. It is jaw-dropping, definitely. This, again, sadly is premium Bandai. It's definitely something you would want in your high-grade TV-style wing squad. But if premium Bandai is the price that we have to pay, it is worth it for this beauty. It looks so good. So now jumping into the accessories, and here's everything that comes with the high-grade Altron Gundam. What we get in here is the twin beam trident, that's the extended in action version, and we have the retracted version 2 for storage. Besides that, we've got a bunch of extender sections for extending the dragon claw arms, and finally we do have 4 alternate hands with this, not including the 2 already attached to it, for a grand total of 6. So first up, when it does come to the hands in here, we do have a lot of options. What I've had on the whole time throughout the review so far are the widespread open ones. These are more relaxed than dynamic, and we do have a pair of left and right. Swapping these out is the usual way, just pop them out like so, and the alternate ones pop in like this. These right here are the standard style holding hands. These are kind of like placeholders for fists in here, so if you are going to be using the Dragon Fang flipped over the fist, these will more than likely be the ones that you'll be using, except you'll probably pop the fangs out like so and open up that mouth. When it comes to melee weapons, we've got the twin beam trident. As the name suggests, it's a beam trident, and it is twin. For holding onto this, we can use the standard holding hands, which will hold it at the usual kind of holding angle, or we do have those cool hands that we got with Sandrock Gundam. I nearly called it Shenlong Gundam. Sandrock Gundam with the thumb and the nice extended angle. These are the ones I'm going to use. It pops into the hand sandwich style. It is a circle peg in a square hole, so it might rotate around a little bit on you. Thankfully, it's not side-shaped or anything like that, so it means, you know, it's usually going to stay the way it needs to stay. It's about time to get it up in the air, and I'm going to be using the Good Smile Company simple stand with this kit because no stand comes included. Just popping it into the hole just like that. Just swap out the hand, pop in the alternate one like so. Getting the Altron Gundam into a pose is super simple. There's a surprising amount of articulation in these high-grade Gundam wing kits. They always look very simple at first glance, but when you start moving them around, they move around extremely nicely. I will mention that the big ol' weapon can clash the wings a little bit. Just move things around, you'll get it into the pose that you want. But the worst aspect about this, and I forgot about it, it's the same, at least in Shenlong, it's that the hole for the action base is so bad, it's arse. And you'll always have a wiggly kit. The reason for this is actually quite simple and quite the oversight on Bandai's part. The hole is right on a seam and just immediately gets pushed open no matter how you move it. Silly design. Anyway, when this weapon is not in use, you can just pop out the hand entirely and get rid of this entirely, because it is a complete separate section for storage. This stores up on that little bit we attached onto this wing right here, so this just attaches on in on a little tab, just like that right there. And it does have a little bit of rotation so you can keep it out of the way when posing it. As for the onboard weapons, around back right here, we've got the twin beam cannon. So this does have a nice amount of articulation, so 1 point, 2 point, 3 points, and then we've got that C-clip right there. Man, the way this attaches to a base is abysmal. Anyway, that just can come around just like so for blasting off a few beams. Also, we do have the shield up here. All this does is kind of teeter up and down just like so for ramming and smashing. Actually, I have to take that off because it's so bad. I'm sure if you actually cemented these two pieces together in here, that might save you that hassle. Anyway, the coolest aspect in here is always the Dragon Fang that just pops like so and comes out just like that right there. That is so nice. We've got multiple points of articulation right here, including the elbow, so you can get that into some crazy poses. And because it is Altron, we don't have just one, we've got 2 of those, which is absolutely completely ridiculous in the best possible way. Just like we would have seen with the Shenlong Gundam, we do have extensions for using with this. You just pop off the arm just like so, and those extensions just pop on exactly the same sort of locking twisting mechanism we would have seen before. Don't leave the segment up in here. This does need to come out as well. And then that pops on just like so. And another extension just like so. So you get this amount of length on it. There is 2 extension parts included for the other arm as well, but I'm just going to be popping the one on today, and that just attaches back on in and twists into position just like that. Now that is absolutely incredible. So finally now onto the articulation, and because this is vastly the same as Shenlong Gundam, if you want to see absolutely every aspect about the articulation, you can check out that review. For this one I'm just going to take a peek at what is new, and that is the wings around here. So these can flap like so. We do have a rotation on them like this. There's a nice clicking aspect to the expansion of the wings. So that's them all the way in. That is them all the way out. And then the dragon head here is full rotation all the way around to the front. We do have a hinge, and another tiny little hinge right here. Finally then, might as well get it into the usual pose. And there we go. This does move very nicely. There are a couple of joints in it that are a little bit soft feeling that you won't want to push around too much. But what you get is very, very nice. There is a nice little kind of moving, crunching aspect in the waist unit on this kit. And one thing I forgot to mention, well I did mention in the build but not in the articulation, is this awesome little receding aspect right here that goes in to the leg and out from the leg with the ankle bend. That is so incredibly nicely done. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and because I'm trying to bust out kits daily and get that backlog seen to, I'm not going to talk too much about this right now. It's a very, very nice kit. You know if you want it or not. If you have the Shenlong or have seen the Shenlong, this is it, with a nice new color scheme, some interesting aspects, especially in the lower legs. The wings are nice. The beam round back is nice. I'm obliged to give this right here Platinum tier because that is what I gave Shenlong. I would be hard pressed to give Shenlong Platinum tier today, but that is why I'm going to be rejiggering the system for 2025. It's a great little kit. If you love Altron, you will love it. It's the TV version, and it is gorgeous. Anyway, I got mine through Buy. Link is down there in the description if you do want one of your own, and I will see you next time. Once again, I can't finish this video right here without special thanks to the channel members and the patrons over on Patreon, including Simon Paskin, Abraxas, Caleb Engelhart, Joe, RG59061, ShadowWolf179, Van Fawn, and Scotty Thomas.